Before we dive into today's chapter, guys, I noticed something really important. Over 70% of you who watch my videos haven't subscribed yet, a humble request from your brother. I'm really close to reaching my first milestone of 1K subscribers, and I need your support now more than ever. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it motivates me to keep bringing you these amazing stories. Thank you so much, and now, let's jump into the chapter. In the previous chapter, we saw Zhuo Fan narrowly avoid trouble with Danking Shen, using quick thinking to conceal his injury and deflect suspicion. As Zhuo Fan studied a powerful art, the next day's battle drew massive attention, with even the superior three sects arriving to witness the demon scheming sect take on the sword god sect. Chu Qingcheng's confidence in Zhuo Fan's abilities only added to the anticipation. Let's begin the chapter. Sister Qingcheng, you really believe in him that much? Donner asked, her big eyes blinking curiously. Chu Qingcheng's expression didn't waver. He is a miracle worker. If there's anything he wants to do, nothing is impossible. I don't doubt it for a second. Her unwavering faith left the others silent, their hearts growing heavier. Zhuan Xiaoyu, however, looked particularly grim, his face dark with suppressed emotion. Suddenly, the sharp sound of movement drew everyone's attention. The judge reappeared at the center of the stage, bowing respectfully to the exalted double dragons seated above, before announcing in a clear voice, "Disciples of Demon Scheming Sect and Sword God Sect, enter!" With those words, the two groups stepped forward. Leading the Sword God Sect was Wen Tao, though his usual carefree demeanor was replaced by a serious and focused expression. Zhuo Fan, naturally, led the Demon Scheming Sect. Yet this time, their group was smaller. Only 9 stood behind him, as Lu Ci's severe injuries from the previous battle left him unable to participate. The judge scanned the groups and then turned to Zhuo Fan. The Demon Scheming Sect is 1 member short and at a disadvantage. Would you like to send in a replacement? Zhuo Fan stepped forward, calm and confident. Thank you for your concern, Elder. The Demon Scheming Sect values quality over quantity. We will fight even if we're 1 man down. His resolute stance drew murmurs of admiration from the crowd. The judge nodded and turned to Wen Tao for his response. Wen Tao cupped his hands and spoke with a polite smile, his voice resonating with confidence. The Sword God Sect would never take advantage of an opponent's misfortune. However, the Demon Scheming Sect is so strong that we must approach this match with utmost seriousness. Even if they were reduced to just 1 man, we'd fight with all our strength. Brother Zhuo, I hope you'll be merciful. Zhuo Fan returned the gesture with a sharp glint in his eyes. Brother Wen is too polite. Wen Tao's response earned respect from many in the audience, his modesty masking a subtle cunning. His demeanor stood out among the crowd. He wasn't arrogant, nor was he cowardly. Instead, he exuded humility while retaining a strong sense of pride, a balance that made him both approachable and formidable. As the crowd buzzed with discussion, the judge raised his hand to silence them. Since both sides agree, we will begin the match. With a flick of his hand, he declared, "Open the dimension." The final battle of the middle 3 sects' challenge stage between the Demon Scheming Sect and the Sword God Sect begins now. In an instant, 2 elders stepped onto the stage, their powerful energies surging as they tore open a dimensional pathway to the valley. Wen Tao turned to Zhuo Fan with a smile. "Brother Zhuo, after you," Zhuo Fan responded just as courteously. "Oh no, Brother Wen, after you." The two exchanged polite gestures, their respective groups disappearing in a flash of white light as they entered the valley. The audience watched in awe. It was clear that the Demon Scheming Sect wasn't hostile toward everyone. Their interactions with the Demon Soul Sect and the Sword God Sect appeared amicable, showing respect and restraint. This behavior sharply contrasted with how they had crushed the Heaven Trailing Sect earlier. Heaven Trailing Sect's fate wasn't without reason, the crowd thought. They brought it on themselves by acting so arrogantly. This shift in perception grew stronger as people recalled the events. The Demon Soul Sect was principled and honorable. The Sword God Sect adhered to formality and tradition, and the Demon Scheming Sect mirrored the attitude of their adversaries, friendly to those who were respectful and ruthless to those who were not. But as for the Heaven Trailing Sect, the crowd turned their eyes to the Heaven Trailing Sect's seats. Only 2 people remained, including Ren Kong, whose bitter expression was impossible to miss. He glared at Zhuo Fan with unbridled hatred, earning the crowd's disdain. Serves them right, they thought, acting so high and mighty only to get crushed in the end. Meanwhile, the sect leaders and sponsors began to make silent judgments about the 9 sects. The performances in this competition would determine their future alliances, and it was clear which sects were worth investing in. The Heaven Trailing Sect, once confident and overbearing, had lost all favor. Ren Kong could feel the public scorn directed at him. His hatred for Zhuo Fan only grew stronger. How had he, the victim, become the target of such loathing? As Ren Kong fumed, a faint voice interrupted him. "Elder Qi, young Master Ren, my master has a message for sect leader Ren. Would you care to listen?" The 2 turned to see a man cloaked in black, his frail frame trembling as if a gentle breeze could knock him over. When the man raised his head, revealing a pale face, their expressions shifted to shock. "Lucy, what are you doing here?" While this strange exchange unfolded, Zhuo Fan's group arrived at the valley. Zhuo Fan stepped forward confidently and addressed Wen Tao. "Like I said before." But before he could finish, Wen Tao interrupted with a smirk. "Who could ever match your level?" Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow at the teasing remark, but didn't lose his composure. Wen Tao continued, "I knew you'd pull something like this, so I've prepared a little challenge for your 8 companions." Zhuo Fan's eyes narrowed. 8? Wen Tao chuckled. "You may have 6 experts on your team who can match my level, and while 1 is out due to injuries, 5 should still suffice. However, the Sword God Sect doesn't take these challenges lightly. I plan to handle this myself, without relying on my juniors." His words caused the other 9 Sword God Sect disciples to step back, nodding in agreement. They wouldn't interfere, leaving everything to Wen Tao. Qi Changlong, one of Zhuo Fan's teammates, scoffed. "Wen Tao, do you really think you can handle all 8 of us on your own? You may be in the 4th layer, but we have 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 2nd, and the rest are ethereal stage experts. You're not that strong." Wen Tao smirked. "That remains to be seen. Strength isn't always about cultivation level. Brother Zhuo is proof of that. He constantly overcomes gaps with overwhelming skill. Perhaps I'll show you the same." Without another word, Wen Tao surged forward, his movements sharp and precise. Qi Changlong reacted immediately, summoning a massive seal that loomed high above Wen Tao before crashing down. But Wen Tao didn't flinch. With 2 fingers extended, he unleashed a sword wave that struck the seal with devastating force. The seal shattered, its fragments dispersing, as the impact sent Qi Changlong flying backward. Blood sprayed from his lips as he crumpled to the ground, unable to rise. The crowd erupted in shock. 1 blow. To them, Qi Changlong was second only to Zhuo Fan in strength. Yet Wen Tao had defeated him with a single attack. Zhuo Fan, observing from the side, let a faint smile play on his lips. "Sorry, Brother Qi, I went easy on you. Just lie there for 6 hours and you'll be fine," Wen Tao said as he moved forward, his tone seemingly comforting, though it only added to Qi Changlong's indignation. This wasn't just a defeat, it was humiliation. Wen Tao hadn't meant to outright insult him, but the fact remained. His all-out attack had been brushed aside with a single finger. This was the 2nd time Qi Changlong had been brought down in such a way, the first being at the hands of Zhuo Fan. It was a harsh reminder of the gap in strength, the unbridgeable divide between the middle 3 sects and the lower 3 sects. They had entered this competition to challenge the superior sects, but deep down, everyone knew the truth. Aside from Zhuo Fan, a freakishly talented outlier, the rest of them were no match for the geniuses of the middle three sects. No matter how much Zhuo Fan trained them or elevated their abilities, a clash with a true genius like Wen Tao revealed the reality. Take heaven-trailing Sect as an example. Even with their cowardly disciples, they had the Kong twins, who had easily bested 6 opponents. Only Zhuo Fan had been able to handle them. And then there was Han Yunfeng from Demon Soul Sect. Though weaker than the other geniuses, he had pushed through multiple battles, defeating 3 opponents consecutively before his strength finally gave out. Now, against Wen Tao, the strongest among the middle 3 sects, the disparity was glaring. Qi Changlong glanced at Bai Lian, watching her put everything she had into her attack. Yet, she too was defeated with the same ease. Wen Tao moved through them like they were nothing, his skills polished and his demeanor calm. Though he showed no contempt, his effortless victories felt like an insult in themselves. It was a bitter pill to swallow. For Qi Changlong, it wasn't just defeat, it was a moment of clarity. Even if they managed to secure a spot among the middle 3 sects, catching up to their true strength would take years of relentless effort. Zhuo Fan had brought them here, but the rest was up to them. With a heavy sigh, Qi Changlong resolved to push himself harder, no matter what it took. Meanwhile, Wen Tao continued forward, unfazed. When Guihu Quilang and Yue Ling stepped in to stop him, they were determined. "Don't think you'll have it easy just because you took down senior brother Qi and Bai," Guihu shouted. But before he could finish, there was a series of dull thuds. Wen Tao appeared behind them in an instant. Their bodies froze before collapsing to the ground. "Sorry, but you're not enough to block my path," Wen Tao said with a calm smile. He turned his gaze toward Yue, Tie Ying, and Kui Gang, the last remaining disciples in the Radiant stage. Fear was etched across their faces as Wen Tao gave them a warm, almost reassuring smile. "We'll handle your steward in a moment. Just stay down and don't get in our way," he said. With a simple swipe of his fingers, the trio crumpled to the ground, powerless. One by one, every disciple of the demon scheming sect, except for Zhuo Fan, was defeated. Wen Tao alone had brought them to their knees, while the Sword God sect remained unscathed. The audience was left speechless. The sheer power and efficiency with which Wen Tao had dismantled his opponents were unheard of. Even the superior 3 sects took notice. Wu Qingqiu from the mystical heaven sect observed the scene intently. "I never expected Wen Tao to be this strong. The Sword God sect truly lives up to its reputation. Once they take care of that lone disciple, they'll be our next opponents." Yan Mo smirked. "That's easier said than done. Wen Tao may have dealt with the small fries, but that guy..." He pointed at Zhuo Fan, standing alone. "He's their real problem. Even if all 10 Sword God sect disciples attack together, they might not win." Wu Qingqiu raised an eyebrow. "You're saying all 10 of them can't handle one person? I know Zhuo Fan is formidable, but this is the Sword God sect we're talking about. 10 against 1. Those odds seem pretty even to me." Yan Mo shook his head. "That's because you've never faced his fist." Ye Lin, another observer, nodded in agreement. "I'm with Yan Mo on this. The winner of this fight will undoubtedly be Zhuo Fan." Wu Qingqiu looked at Ye Lin curiously. "You sound so certain, but you've never fought him either." Ye Lin smiled confidently. "Do I need to? He's my rival, my destined opponent. If he can't handle this, then he's not worthy of being my equal. Besides..." His expression turned serious. "I can sense the same berserk power in him that I have. If I've learned to control mine, then he must have mastered his as well." Wu Qingqiu nodded thoughtfully and returned his gaze to the battlefield. Over at the mystical heaven sect, the girls were anxious. Danner pointed at Zhuo Fan. "Sister Qingcheng, he's now alone against 10 opponents. Will he be okay?" Shui Rohua looked equally concerned, turning to Chu Qingcheng for reassurance. Before Chu Ching-chung could respond, Xuan Xiaoyu interjected with a sneer. Ha! Facing the strongest in the middle three sects, that punk is done for. His smugness earned glares from the girls, who were increasingly irritated by his behavior. Chu Ching-chung, however, remained calm. Ignoring Xuan Xiaoyu's remarks, she said, "Don't worry. He's always been alone. Whether he has support or not, it doesn't matter. He's used to facing everything by himself." The girls frowned, puzzled by her words. Alone? This is a team battle. Does he really not rely on anyone? They watched Zhuo Fan closely. His tranquil gaze, devoid of any emotion or concern, was unnerving. Even as his teammates fell one after another, it didn't seem to affect him. To Zhuo Fan, their defeat didn't equate to his own. Wen Tao noticed this too, and his expression grew serious. He chuckled lightly. "Looks like it's time to start the real fight." Drawing a greenish sword that radiated sharpness, Wen Tao charged at Zhuo Fan. This was no longer a game. Wen Tao was giving this fight his all, wielding a ninth-grade spiritual weapon. In a flash, Wen Tao attacked with his empty grace sword wind technique. The sharp energy of his strike was so intense it seemed to cut through space itself. Zhuo Fan's heart raced, though his face remained calm. A sly smile crept onto his lips as his right eye gleamed with 4 golden halos. Divine Eye of the Void, 4th Stage, Space Crusher. A deafening boom echoed through the battlefield. The space around Zhuo Fan seemed to shatter, engulfing everything within a 100-meter radius. Wen Tao's instincts kicked in, and he retreated swiftly. But his sword was caught in the range of Space Crusher, its energy clashing against the spatial disturbance. The chaotic energy within Space Crusher surged wildly, threatening to tear everything apart. "This sword energy? It can move within Space Crusher?" Zhuo Fan muttered, his expression shifting. Wen Tao, unfazed, made a hand sign. The sword energy gathered, creating a powerful force that tore through the spatial barrier. The sword shot forward, finding its mark. Blood splattered as the blade pierced Zhuo Fan's hand. Yet amid the chaos, Zhuo Fan's sly smile remained. "This is exactly what I wanted."